Yeah,
lot of
actually,
changes.
homes also become smaller and smaller.
Yes.
So
I think we're good to start.
good to start. Okay. Okay. So I think I see a lot of people have joined. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And this is our third episode of SCM Talk Show of Season 5. So welcome to this episode. And if you attended the last episode, that was on supply chain planning, and this one is on sustainability, circularity, and climate in retail. So very interesting topic, very hot topic. I think most of you would be interested. I think we all hear about sustainability, we all hear about circularity, and we all hear about, but how much on the ground is being done, that is being, I think that we'll cover today. So I think this topic has been chosen to tap experience of the speaker. As usual, this session will be recorded and made available for free on 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐼𝐶 mobile app as well as YouTube channel. Like our earlier practice, we are putting everyone on listen only mode. And like all our previous times, please submit your questions in the chat box. And we will take few most asked questions at the end of the session if time permits. If we don't want to go much beyond 5 o'clock, but if time permits, we'll take it. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Nitin Joshi. Nitin is head of warehousing and logistics in Fab India. And I'm sure if, many of you may have purchased merchandising from Fab India. I think it's very visible stores across many malls. So I'm sure you know about Fab India. He did his graduation from Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering and Management, education from Wellinkar and IIM Ahmedabad. So he has a lot of years of experience, 30 years of experience with many companies, but mostly in supply chain with 𝐷𝐸, with Blue Dart, with Globus, with Future Group, and now with Fab India. So a lot of experience. And in various domain also. So I think his experience includes sales, merchandising, logistics, warehousing, and supply chain management. I think a lot of experience of 30 years. In his current role, he is overseeing a spectrum of channels, including B2B and B2C and D2C also operations. So he is ensuring that all channels consistently meet on time in full OTIF delivery standards, optimizing efficiency and managing high inventory accuracy. So another, I think, responsibility is collaborating with 3PL partners. So I think once you are in logistics, you got to interact with 3PL partners. Streamlining operation, reducing cost, enhancing customer satisfaction. So I think these are key, objectives of supply chain. So managing these critical facets of supply chain management, it drives seamless operation and strategic growth and customer-centric logistics solution to meet the evolving demand of Fab India's business and customers. So I'm sure I may have missed many achievements of Nitin. So anything you would like to add, Nitin, beyond what I introduced you?
So apart from my, corporate career experience, in 2017, I started on my own. So I was on an entrepreneurial journey. Span Retail was the company which I formed. We were basically into organic food retail. So I used to run a brand called GFK. The full form of it is Good Food Carts. So almost 200 plus SKUs in food, which were organic certified. It was a private label. We had brick and mortar stores, about 8 brick and mortar stores in Thane, Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and we had distributors across Maharashtra. But post-COVID, because the brick and mortar model was almost down for about 1.5 years, we had to roll back the whole business, and then I went into pure play supply chain consultancy job because I had the experience of supply chain and sourcing, and built large warehouses across India, about 2 million square feet with Future Group. And hence, there were a lot of consultancy assignments which I started getting in, and that is how I landed in Fab India.
I see. So you were consultant to Fab India, and then
So
you.
I was consultant to Fab India initially for 6
Uh-huh.
months to streamline their operations, implement the SAP and the EWM,
Okay.
the warehouse management bit of it. But later on, I liked Fab India, they liked me, and now I'm full-time on roll with Fab India.
Good, great. Yeah, so thank you very much, Nitin, for accepting our invitation and sharing your industry and practice-oriented insight with our listeners. So it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm sure that our participants, our listeners will benefit a lot with your knowledge, with your insight. So to begin with, would you say a little bit about Fab India? I mean, though I'm sure people have seen the brand and people may have seen the stores, but a little bit about the organization,
Yeah. So
the
Fab
products.
India. So first of all, Mr. Tulsian, thanks for having me on this talk show, and a big thanks to Rashmi and all the other team members who were coordinating with me. I think it was earlier scheduled for last month, but due to my travel plans, it was shifted to this month. Apologies for the same. And coming back to your question on Fab India is a 6.5 decade old organization. So the journey started in 1960 when Mr. John Bissell visited India. He was on a UN project, and he was meeting all the people who are into basically the crafts making kind of businesses. So basically all the artisans, and that is how he thought of starting a business of basically fabric, which Fab India used to export out of India. So it started as a fabric exporter, and eventually, since we were into fabric, there was demand for garments also. So garmenting started, a store in Greater Kailash started, and it went off very well for on the retail front. Today, the organization is a full-fledged lifestyle brand, and we have 360 plus stores in India.
Wow.
And 15 stores outside India. We sell apparels, we sell furniture, home decor, lighting, we sell personal care and organic food. So we cover the whole domain, I mean the entire lifestyle domain of the business. However, the core of this group is that we work very closely with artisans across India, in remote villages of India, and make sure that their pieces of art or handicraft products or handmade products in apparels or in furniture, lifestyle products reaches to the customer.
So I understand your fabrics are mostly not factory made. They are like
yeah. So we deal with 100% cotton. Majority of our fabrics are handloom fabrics or powerloom fabrics. We very little amount of mill-made fabrics that we use. Our dyeing is with natural dyes. We don't use chemicals. Most of the drying is sun-dried. So majority of our products are naturally created.
Wonderful. So let's come back to the topic of what we have today on sustainability. So as I said, there's a lot of talk that we hear at all levels, at the, I think, government level, strategy level, industry level, I think, and the gyan that we get on sustainability. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of gyan is there. But, how much focus is there? I mean, I see MNCs have some focus because their, I think, headquarter has focus on supply on sustainability. But coming on the ground, so why is the apparel industry, let us say, how they're embracing, circular economy, sustainability practices to make it more suitable for the future?
Okay. So in apparel industry, but obviously, I mean, the major aspect of this is the product. So the textile, the weaved product. Here, there is, as you said, globally, there is some work which has already happened on, recycling of yarn. And even in India, there are 2 or 3 bigger corporations, companies who have entered into this particular domain. So there is work happening on recycling of recycling of products. So otherwise, what happens is globally, if you must have read that there are a lot of brands who have thrown 4 billion worth of clothes in landfill, or there are a lot of 15% of their stock been still not sold for last 4 years or so. But yes, now recycling of material, I mean of apparels has started, and in India also that has started. Though since the volumes are low currently, the cost of recycling or producing yarn out of your non-sellable merchandise or non-sellable apparel products is little high. But I'm sure with this sustainability factor gaining momentum, there will be a lot of people who would offer for this. And there is also a select base of customers who want to use sustainable products. So there would be, even if the price is slightly higher, they would still buy those, recycled yarn products. There are already shoes available now. A lot of bigger brands are selling their shoes which are from the recycled plastics or recycled rubber. Similarly, you will start seeing apparels from Indian brands which are from the recycled yarn of their own. So one is on that factor. Otherwise, if you take the entire, a holistic look at the entire supply chain, there is a lot of work happening at the production stage. There is a lot of work happening on the inside the warehousing and also on the transportation bit, where people are trying to make the whole supply chain sustainable. And the third aspect of it is the circular fashion segment, where a lot of brands are working into ensure that they promote that the products which are not sold are sold at a discount, or they go to a particular, there are people who run brand factories, or where you can give your products and they sell it at a discounted, so it keeps on going in rotation. So the effort is there, though you may not see it largely there. Is that at least for the last 3-4 years, the people have started, the talk has started, people have started interacting, talking about sustainability, talking about waste management, talking about energy efficiency, talking about reducing their inventories drastically, and not producing huge quantums of that they have to, that it doesn't get sold after the seasonal efficiencies. So there is work happening on it.
Great. I think, and by definition of your business, because the fabrics are made in power looms and hand looms, and you're using cotton and you're using natural dyes, I think everything is sustainable, right? It's mostly
so the core
the nature of your business.
Fab India, as far as Fab India considered, yes, it is the core philosophy of that brand to make natural and handmade products available to the customers. So, the product itself is sustainable. So the whole organization ethos is, making even the end-to-end supply chain more sustainable in terms of looking at the warehousing bit or the transportation bit as well.
Great. Now, next is actually warehousing. How about, people are approaching in warehousing operations? Are there some trends, or they're doing something different or unique that the, warehouses become more sustainable?
Yeah. So one thing which has happened post COVID is a lot of people have consolidated their warehousing. So there are bigger warehouses coming in now. Earlier from, we have transitioned from that go down to a small distribution center to bigger warehouses, large distribution centers kind of thing. And obviously, when something comes to that scale, then obviously the sustainability factor has to be looked at. It becomes very, very critical because, in 4 lakh square feet of warehouse, there are 500 people working and there is huge amount of energy which is getting consumed. There is huge automation within the warehouse. There are conveyors rolling everywhere. There is a lot of plastic, or there is a lot of corrugated waste that is getting generated. There is huge amount of water and energy which is getting consumed. So people have started, as far as warehousing is considered, people have started working with the subject matter experts, especially in this sustainable field or the building design field, to make sure that we get it right from day one. So just to give you an example, earlier people used to design ki warehouse basic डिजाइन है तो it is 4 walls and एक अच्छा अगर floor plate मिल जाए तो we can start the warehousing. But now very, very small factors like natural lights, natural lighting entering your warehouse, so you don't have to always keep your LEDs on. So while at the building design stage itself, people have started looking into it. Secondly, proximity. So, but obvious for distribution, any distribution brand which is on distribution or on distribution channel, they look at being either near to the production unit or near to the customer. So that is one thing, that networking, the network, the channel, design, the network design is looked at very seriously. And there is a lot of, mathematics which is going behind it to ensure that we don't waste too much of time in transit, or too much of cost in transportation. More than cost, it is again something which, where again environment comes into the picture, and trucks are flying with from one point to other point. So the network piece is also getting corrected. So, and the third piece, with the help of technology which is getting corrected, is inventory. So if you take specifically apparel business, so it is seasonal. So everything has to, 70% of your stocks have to come before the festive. So we have the festive starts from, say, Raksha Bandhan, we have Eid, then we have Onam, we have Diwali, we have Durga Puja, and so every retailer wants to ensure that everything comes here. But with the help of technology now, people have that information at pin code level key, what is selling where and what is the need. Exactly. So they can plan their entire year accordingly, and that plan can be rolled out for production. So overall, inventories are quite stabilized. The inventories from earlier, say 6 months of inventory, now people have gone to almost 12 weeks or 10 weeks of inventory. So that has reduced a lot of burden on unnecessary movement, unnecessary transportation, unnecessary picking of goods, or unnecessary producing it much before time when it is not needed. So on that front also, there is a lot of work which has happened. Sorry, you're mute.
Thank you so much. So I will say that, what is your advice to people who would like to modernize their warehouses? What would you say and how to go about?
So again, coming back to my earlier, thoughts. One is involve the, your internal experts who are planning on the networking stage itself, because most of the companies now want to roll out state-wise, warehouses, or they want to be near to the customer because of obviously pressure of hyper local deliveries or deliveries in 10 minutes, and also they also want to ensure that their material reaches to those hyper local platforms immediately or on the next day. So they are opening that. But while opening that, two things which are very, very essential is, one is proximity is fine to the customer, but your network should be able to utilize that whole piece, your truck should not go half empty, or even within the warehouse, you should not have, huge amount of inventories kept. So that is one piece of planning where you can, do just the right sizing of the warehouse, the right location of the warehouse, whether it is near to your factory or to the. Secondly, the design. At the design stage, you can do a lot of things. Natural light is one thing which I spoke about. One is again, usage of your energy. So there are a lot of LED and technologies available where you can have those sensors inside your large warehouses where the LEDs will be lit only where your people are moving. Okay, so the whole warehouse doesn't have to, the LED lights doesn't have to be on throughout the day, or, especially in the north part during the winters, if you see the daylight is low. But if you have sufficient natural light, even if it is a low light which is coming in, you will still save a lot on the energy. So that those are the things which are to be kept in mind while you are finalizing any warehouse.
Wonderful, wonderful. So sustainability and ESG, these are normally talk of the town for apparel industry also. So can you share your point of view for apparel industry?
So there is growing awareness. I mean, on the sustainability front, there is even Indian consumers are now aware of what I am buying, what I need to wear, and whether by buying a particular thing, whether I am harming the environment, or if for buying a sustainable product, I am helping a bit from my individual end to make sure that I'm not harming the environment. So with this, there is a rise of sustainable brands. There are a lot of brands, multinational brands who are entering into India. Plus within India, we have a lot of brands who are producing sustainable garments. The best part is the youth. The youth is being very aware of what they want to wear, and where they want to shop. And that awareness is helping a lot on this movement, of sustainable for those sustainable brands. So there is a lot of usage of cotton or handloom products or powerloom products or crafted products, getting natural dyes. I mean, there is a lot of apart from apparel, there is a lot of on the food products, natural food products and all. So that is how slowly it is building.
Great, great. So how about sourcing? I think a lot of sustainability principles are applied for sourcing also.
Yeah.
Can you talk about sourcing?
Yeah. So when we look at sourcing, one is obviously the material selection that we are doing, and then since Fab India is a sustainable brand, so we look at it very, very seriously. I mean, use of cotton, non-usage of polyester and all those things. But for other brands also, the material selection becomes very, very important. Okay, because the product has to be sustainable. So there are a lot of multinational brands who have started looking into from where the cotton is coming, how it is grown. Because so that is one part. Apart from that, there's a lot of transparency now getting involved. You have for your barcodes which show you that from where those QR codes from where this material has originated. You can actually, in some of the brands, some of the sustainable brands or some of the cotton fabric brands, you can actually trace from which farm it has come in. And on the factory front, again, there is a lot of work which has happened on the waste management, especially in the apparel industry. Earlier, the norm was that 10 to 12% of your fabric gets wasted when it is cut. But now with the help of technology, that is reduced drastically. So now when you give your sizes, you give your quantity per sizes, the system actually tells you, no, now you will have to reduce 20 pieces in size L, or you have to increase 30 pieces in size M to utilize this fabric to the, 10th of 97 or 98%. So there, that waste management, well, a piece has done. A lot of people are looking at packaging front. Again, as I said, a lot of these people, since they have planned their inventories better, so their the load is spread across all the 12 months. So earlier, before the season, the factories used to work 24/7, and then the whole setup, post Diwali for 1.5 months, nothing happens. But now that is all getting reduced. The utilization is proper. The energy efficiency is getting built in. A lot of warehouses, a lot of factories are getting into solar energy, where the most of the LED lights, or some of the machines are run on solar panels. Even there are certain logistics complexes or commercial complexes where apparel factories are there, where the entire rooftops of all these complexes are solar. So there is a lot of those clean energy elements which are entering into the this factories and warehousing perspective.
Great, great. So I think coming back to the warehousing, if some companies have to choose a warehousing partner or warehouses, so what should they consider?
So from the sustainability angle, the environment, the climate angle, one obvious thing is that your customer base and your origin production unit, and so you have to make sure that your warehouse is either near the consumption point or near the factory point, and then how you network it. Secondly, if you can work on the 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 box sizes, or the kind of delivery truck sizes, or your basically your on your consumption bit, then you can actually design your boxes or design your product or number of pieces in that particular box in such a way that you don't waste much of space inside the warehouse. Also, you utilize that space properly. Your picking, packing happens very properly. So you need a partner who can add a lot of value in the entire warehousing processes also, so that you use your warehouse space efficiently, you use your energy efficiently. Even post warehousing, when you're using the transportation bit, you make sure that if it's a local delivery, it goes into the CNG or the electric vehicles which are now getting available across India, or you use modes of transportation like railway, or where you don't harm the environment much. So while selecting that warehouse or while selecting that partner, you have to make sure that if you are selecting a 3PL, that 3PL should be able to add a lot of value in what you are doing. I mean, rather than you just running your warehouse at a very, very nominal average. Yeah, you should be able to do it very, very efficiently, and utilization has to go up, so that unnecessary you don't waste your energy or your transportation bit on.
So I think we talked about suppliers, we talked about warehouses, transportation, factories. How about customers? How to engage them into this entire conversation of sustainability, circularity, recycling, and all of that? How to engage them?
So there is a lot of traction already getting built on through the social media platforms. So the marketing teams of all the brands are already doing a very good job. And obviously everybody is talking about carbon credits. Everybody is talking about being 100% on clean energy by 2030, by 2040, and all. But at the same time, customers are well read. They are looking at things from from the environmental angle or from the sustainable angle, and it's getting marketed, it is getting picked up very fast. If you see most of the youth now, they are, as I said earlier, they are looking at things very differently. They are, if you have recently, there are a lot of articles where people have gone on the hills or gone on the beaches and ensured that they pick up all the plastic bottles and all the plastic. And most of these people, if you see, they are youth. So they are working towards it. They are concerned about the environment, and obviously, once this thought process starts building in within anyone, I'm sure it will lead to a lot of people opting for sustainable products and ensuring that we don't harm the environment. So there is a lot of awareness which is getting built. Even the government is doing a lot of things to ensure that it gets advertised, or everything is marketed very well.
Yeah, I can already see that. I think a lot of I think globally, I think there's increasing awareness globally. I think maybe, yeah. So if we from the point of view of transportation, I think we still are talking about a lot of green shipping methods, green I think vehicles, less carbon footprint. So what can the companies do? How can they transition into that? So I think to become more greener. As you gave the example of CNG and electric vehicles for local delivery, what else can they do?
So one is obviously the road infrastructure is getting better and better each day, and with the EV, the electric vehicle availability across sizes getting built in. So earlier, when the electric vehicles, commercial electric vehicles were introduced, it was all smaller vehicles, basically to deliver your grocery to your house. So these were 500 kg capacity vehicles. Now there are vehicles which are available at 2 ton, 5 ton, 9 tonner level vehicles, and accordingly, the charging infrastructure is also getting built on highways, and so that your cargo reaches through a completely clean transportation kind of way. But while looking at this is already happening, and obviously people will take that route because it is cost effective. But the most critical part, which I always, whenever I talk to my colleagues in supply chain or whenever I talk on any forum, I say that the most important or the most critical part in your entire supply chain bit is your inventory. So keep an eye on it, because excess inventory is going to, harm that sustainable part very much, because unnecessary building in inventory, unnecessary picking, packing, unnecessary usage of energy, unnecessary transportation, all those non-value added things can be avoided if your inventory is right. Your plan at the planning stage itself, you define it very correctly. I don't say that you can come 100% near to perfection, impossible hai. Especially in the retail industry, because huge amount of seasonality when apparel business is considered. But at least go near 90%. Don't keep on building it, because what will happen is, if you produce excess and you're not able to sell it, then obviously it will go in landfills, or people will try to sell it at a discount. Still it doesn't get sold. It actually gets thrown away. And now when we are talking about 5 trillion and 10 trillion and 30 trillion economies, the consumption of individuals has to increase, right? So every brand will try to push his products to every individual, maybe try to reduce the price of the product, because he has huge economy, so that one product, somebody who is clicking himself on the Instagram doesn't want to wear the same shirt the next day, so they will bring shirts at 299, 399. But what will happen eventually is, you will produce it even if 10% doesn't get sold, so then again you will see the same headlines as 1 billion pieces getting thrown away or getting in landfill, or you'll find it in somewhere floating in the sea. So your planning bit has to be strong, where you don't have this much of excess inventory in the system. Rest, I think people will adopt it. There will be technologies. There will be a lot of experts who will come and try to save your energy, try to save your fuel, and get into cleaner fuels and best water management systems. But this is one piece where you need to. And the second piece is there is a lot of this talk about robotics and automation which is going on in this segment, in every manufacturing plant or any warehouse also. Today, if you talk to any warehousing and logistics person, he will tell, no, I want to get automation, my warehouse automated. Okay, but whether, you really have to wait, you really have to look at it 100 times, whether you really need that kind of automation, whether you really need those, 12-meter long conveyors and 15-meter long conveyors where, after every 2 minutes, one box is getting carried, or which are not used efficiently, because these are all, energy guzzlers. They will, eat and drink a lot of energy. When you put automation, that will come with it.
Yeah, I think the cost and energy both, cost also, energy also. And so I think I give the same example. I'm sure our grandfather used to have 2 pairs of kurta and pajama, one to wash and one to wear. And from that, I think we have changed a lot. We've transitioned a lot. I think today I'm saying not about women, but men probably would have 50 pairs, for office and for casual and for I think walk and for swimming and for I don't know, whatever. And for night and so on. So I think so the consumerism has increased, and as you rightly said, if you click one pic, especially women, if you click one pic today and put on Instagram, you can't wear the same same dress tomorrow, and you have to have a new thing. So increasing, So I think also correct me if I'm wrong. In apparel industry, you also have challenges of design and shades and sizes. So that's an additional factor, right? If you want to forecast what you're going to sell.
Correct. So size, dimension, and color. So, but obviously, we have people of various shapes and sizes. So that actually increases the inventory drastically, and it always doesn't sell in the same pattern. So if you produce a SML, double XL, and triple XL sizes in any form 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, but actually it doesn't sell. So that cut sizes also creates a lot of problem. There are certain colors which don't sell in certain geographies of India or globally. So that creates certain issues. There are styles which are not accepted in certain geographies, or so that will definitely create a problem. But now with the help of good technology platforms, and also they balance out the inventory within the stores, and try to maximize that sale throughput by moving those inventories across regions and ensuring, though there is a cost attached to it, but eventually the whole idea is that the inventory gets sold faster.
And what measurements you use in sustainability? I think in ASCM we have this core model. Score now is called DS, Digital Standard, where we have a special section on sustainability, how to go about performance and so on. So how do you measure? Do you measure carbon footprint? What do you measure?
No, to tell you very frankly, we have not reached, no, none of the apparel retailers or have reached that level where they can, or they have those measurement standards, or they have that experts to, measure. Since we are, as I said, it's very, very preliminary stage. We are just scratching the surface, and we have just, that movement has just started. So today, if you see, everybody will first and foremost look at your people bill and your power bill. So उसमें they try to make sure कि how will people reduce अपनी inventory में unnecessary non-value added activities and all those things, and therefore that is one part of it. Energy consumption is the second part of it, and third part of it is obviously if we can do the transportation piece with through some clean fuel or gas or CNG or electric vehicle, and in the same cost, so that we help the environment in doing it. But if you really ask me whether, that product, that tag, the packaging, the plastic, whether how it is contributing, and if you take, if you go, 3-4 steps behind as to when the cotton is produced, what is the kind of, harm that we have done to the environment, or when it has come to the factory, what has done. So at that level, nobody is, I mean, I will bluntly say that nobody has the capability to track it. People are still at a very, very preliminary level.
So I think still we are a little far away from.
We are very far away from what is happening in some parts of Europe. But now experts have started connecting. There are, in the last year, almost on 6 or 7 major conferences, there was this special session on, how do we do it? That, how do we count it, or, how can we look at things more differently from the, because normally we look at it only from the energy cost perspective. है कि चलो सोलर बिठा दिया, मेरा काम हो गया, मेरा energy bill half हो गया, I am done. But there are huge repercussions, right? You have to look at it, as I said, holistically. कि right from the farm to the fork. When we talk about food, we used to tell farm to fork. Similarly, from design to shelf for the apparel. When you're designing, your designer should also think, how am I designing? Whether I'm using plastic buttons or whether I'm using coconut shell or so that has to slowly ingrain across the organization. It has to become a culture.
So I think other thing, I'm not sure whether water is also one of the measurements people do, how much they're consuming, how much they're discharging, how much they're recycling, and so on. That
correct. But in apparel
it's
industry,
not a big concern.
You ask, no, it can be, because when you are dyeing something, or you are harming the environment, if you are using chemical dyes or so. And obviously people are conscious about it, and a lot of brands have started have stopped using chemicals which actually affect your, so that awareness is also. And exports, when exporters, they have those norms, the brands, international brands have set those norms, that this is how they want it in a particular way, not the chemical dyes or so. So consciousness is there. It is because we are doing everything for export, right? We are giving the right product. We are producing it the way they want. And similarly, it will filter it to the domestic part also.
Great. So I think I see a lot of, I went through your career journey. I think you had a very, very interesting career journey, So just, I'm very curious, and for the benefit of, I think, all listeners also, from your college days, university days, how did you end up in supply chain management?
Okay,
was it your interest or just happened naturally?
No, actually, it happened accidentally, because after doing my engineering, I actually landed a internship kind of assignment with a company called India Telecom Limited. So I used to sell fax machines and cordless phones, which don't exist today. So yeah, while doing that, I cracked a deal with Transport Corporation of India for fax machines for their regional offices across India. And the head of HR and administration, Mr. Murthy, actually offered me a job in sales. So they were looking for trainees, engineer trainees who can, actually come in their new division. So Gati was a new division of Transport Corporation of India. It was just a baby uh, in those years. And they said that we need, people who can talk in English, who can approach the customers and sell these express cargo services. So that is how I joined Gati. But I was, very lucky to have worked with veterans in the transport industry in my 4 years of tenure. So there were people, the age gap between me and my boss was 20 years. And he had worked with the organization for 20 years, Transport Corporation of India, which was the largest transporter in Asia. So huge amount of learnings in Gati, and then I joined Blue Dart in the aviation, the air cargo business, and looking. So did the surface initially, then the air cargo business, very, very professional organization, and again learnings. And then I ended up joining a startup which was Globus, which was part of Rajan Raheja Group. And there, in fact, I got to manage a lot of different roles. Right from initially, I started my career with logistics, but then I went into merchandise planning. I did sourcing, category management for about 8 years, menswear, kidswear, and accessories. So private label, and then I joined Future Group in 2017 because I felt that I need to now look at a scale, 20,000 crore company. How does it work? How do things happen there? And I was again lucky to work with a lot of logisticians, supply chain veterans in Future Group who had actually managed supply chains globally, built huge warehouses across India, automation, and lucky to have worked with them. So that is how the journey was. But again, today, I always say that I am still learning. But I think I was open to go anywhere, open to explore new opportunities, and that has helped. I didn't say no to any assignment. If I was asked to go and open a new warehouse in a particular state, I went there. I started from scratch, from searching the space to giving the design or discussing the design and building that warehouse. So I grabbed all those opportunities which knocked on my door, and that is how, by the grace of Almighty, uh, this is where I am today. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I said if you are happy, so if let's say you have to start all over again, would you do
Yeah.
the same or would you do something different?
No, this is one thing, where I enjoy because, as I said, I was lucky to have, worked in challenging environment across my year. Most of these companies were, as good as startups. So when I joined Gati, it was a startup. When I joined Blue Dart, the air cargo business was a startup. And Globus was there. Future Supply Chains was a startup of Future Group. So that helped me a lot in looking at things very differently, doing a lot of things, multitasking, but I had no regrets. I would love to do the same thing again. It's for the people who want to come in this industry. It's slightly sticky. People say that supply chain is a thankless job. It comes on the last, but this was about 10 years back. Now, most of the supply chain heads are part of the executive committees of the organizations. So they are one of the key members amongst your 4 or 5, your sales and your marketing and your HR and your technology and supply chain. So these are 4 or 5 major members. And this is no more a thankless job, or it doesn't come at the last story, because this has actually become very, very critical, and it is the backbone of the industries today. I mean, you take any matured industries, you take pharma, you take auto, you'll find that, their supply chains are brilliant. I mean, they are doing excellent jobs, and their supply chain heads are doing some fabulous job across the globe.
I think the status of supply chain management changed after COVID. I think in COVID, everyone realized that, it's such an important function, and without that, nothing can move. I think that realization came very, very fast. And even I had tweeted Prime Minister Modi in his speeches, he uttered supply chain, I don't know how many number of times.
Yeah.
So I think, so that was very clear that, it got a lot of importance. And we also see countries where there were no toilet tissues and there was not food items, and so I think people realize that how important it is to do proper planning, to control supply chain properly. I think a lot of realization, and I think that mask and gloves, and I think the sanitizers, that created additional, urgency of, what should have. I think so that happened. Good for us, good for our profession.
Yes,
So I think, yeah. So I think supply chain reached now the boardroom level now. So that has really happened. Great, great, great. So, we have a lot of listeners, and as far as the career advice is concerned, what would you like to tell them? What would you like to guide them? How can they accelerate their career? What are something that, our listeners should do, look after, skills, or I think traits, whatever you say. What really helped you?
Correct. So one thing is, I mean, see, in this particular field, especially in the field of supply chain, if you look at manufacturing operations or production, warehousing, logistics, transportation, anything, you would face challenges. There will be a lot of challenging situations where the ask of your internal customer or your external customers will be, it will be unreal. I mean, you would say कि मुझे 5 लाख पीस अभी 3 दिन में चाहिए या ऐसा कुछ. But I mean, one thing is clearly stating that no, this cannot be done or this cannot be managed. That is one easy way to do it. But whenever any small or medium or big challenge that you face, one thing which I always feel is you should have a very, very open and solution oriented mindset. I also tell my team that don't block कि ये नहीं हो सकता है, कुछ चीजें हैं जो हम डिलीवर कर सकते हैं if you have a solution oriented mindset. Very, very small things like, suddenly, at 5:45 you get an order that this 10,000 pieces has to be, picked, packed and shipped. Okay. And that 6 o'clock the warehouse is, shutting off. People will start going in. But you should have that, open mind or solution that you go and talk to the people, those 4 or 5 critical people who can make this happen in the next 1.5 hours and deliver it. Once that trust builds within that channel, once that trust builds within your supply chain, your warehousing or your transportation, that these people are at least trying to do or at least trying to help the internal customer or the internal departments, keep discussing with them, keep meeting them often. All your internal customers you have to meet at least once a week. Just go and say hi, hello, and try to understand the business, how the business works, because that will help you, in getting much better solutions, much better planning in advance. So any organization you are entering, first and foremost, just see how that whole business works. What are the criticalities in that business? What are the priorities of the business heads? So that will help you a lot in the career. Many times you will feel dejected or rejected for that matter ki nahi ho paya. In the meetings people will openly say ki nahi, they are not, the performance is not that great, even if on the on the board it is showing that you have done 93.7% of your dispatches within 24 hours. Still for that balance 5-6% people will question you a lot. But don't get offended, or don't stay back. Go on the front foot. Play your shots well, and keep engaging with your customers. Keep your mind open. That will help you a lot in gaining momentum, gaining trust of that the other team members, and it will make you comfortable. Otherwise, if you keep thinking that I have lost on that 5-6%, I have not been able to deliver, and somebody has said something, then this is not the right field for you. So, but yes, it is very, very challenging. There are a lot of new things which are happening. There is huge amount of uh, very, very major drastic changes which are happening in this whole domain. There is a lot of technologies which I keep on interacting with the technology providers, and they come up with a lot of things. So it is making life easier. It is making this job much easier. And then it is up to us how we make it more efficient, how we reduce the non-value added activities. But it's a very, very challenging, very, very interesting domain to as a career.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much. And for this insight about sustainability to our listeners for the Indian industry. So I think we may have some questions from the listeners. So I'll hand it over to Nistush to share some questions from the chat box.
Yeah. So thank you so much, speakers, and thank you, Nitin sir, for such a wonderful and insightful session. It was raw. It was probably one of the most amazing retail, warehouse, and personal growth sessions as someone would have gone through. So we have questions from two people. I'm going to take the first one. It is from Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗃. So he says that I like to know how Fab India manages the reverse flow of its merchandise, considering frequent change in customer choice or fashion trends, and what they do with the return products which are now out of fashion.
Okay, great. So one is majority of these returns, Harshit, happens on our B2C channel. So as compared to the industry average, our returns average is much lesser. Even we are trying to find out the reason as to why this difference is, but maybe people know their sizes correctly, so they order it and they like those designs. But majority of this happens through the B2C channel. In B2C channel, there are two types of Nishtush, I will take 2-3 minutes to answer this question if you have time.
Please, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So there are two types of returns in B2C. One is obviously where the package is not delivered. The customer has rejected it before even the delivery has happened. Okay. So it is called return to origin, RTO, where it is packed properly. Everything is there. It is just that the customer was not available, or he doesn't need it anymore, or he has just placed an order by mistake or something. So that comes back. Here the product is not used. It is not opened. It is simply removed from we scan it, we check the product still, and we have a refurb small unit within the warehouse where it is ironed. It is folded properly, again put into the bag, and it goes into the bin. So it is again available for sale. The second part is where the customer's product is delivered. He has opened it, he has tried it, and something has gone wrong where the size is not fit, or the color he has not liked, or anything else. So that he has returned. In that case also it comes back. It gets checked thoroughly for any defects, any damages, or it gets higher, and again it goes back into the inventory. So for all the returns, every day we track it, and the TAT here is that within 48 hours of that return, the product has to get binned back. So when I say binned, BINNED, it has to go back to the picking bin. Okay, that is one part. Secondly, on the retail store front, the brick and mortar stores. So once they see a particular life of that product inside the store, even if after inter-store transfer and all doing all that balancing, there are about some percentage of products which don't get sold. So all those products also come back. We have tied up with a refurbishing center where they do QC, Q1, Q2, Q3. They do the entire refurbishing of the product. So they clean the product, they will iron it, the the packaging, the bag is changed there. It is put into a new bag. And from there, it comes to one of our return centers. Here we have, we conduct sale in various states of India. We call it the venue sales or the exhibition sales, where we take exhibition centers on rent and we sell it at a discount. ठीक है, उसके बाद भी after that also there are product left. ठीक है, so say about from those 100 products which we have sent to the venue sale, we have 5-6 products which are left over. All those products are given to an NGO. The NGO is called 𝐷𝐴NG. We give all those products to them, and then they circulate to all the needy people.
Perfect. I think that very well answers that question. So we'll go to the next question. So this is the last question from the group, but there are two questions from Mr. Ganesh.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has first given a compliment. Thank you for a very good session. And here are the below two questions. So first one is, which all ratings certification do you prefer for sustainable warehouse? For example, LEED, Green Co certification, etc., or any other. And the second question is, what preventive measures, actions do you consider to avoid any fire hazards at the warehouse considering apparel business?
Perfect. So I will answer the second question first. Okay, so in all the organizations, I mean, wherever we have large warehousing logistics or even small warehouses, yes, safety is one of the prime parameter on which the warehouse manager's KRA, I mean, almost 20% of his KRA goes to safety, because we deal with furniture, we deal with food, we deal with apparels. We have to take utmost care of the on the safety parameters. So we have a process. Safety process. We have a safety head, in fact, in Fab India, who takes care of safety across all the stores and across all the warehouses. So there is a process document. There are audits. There is an internal audit every 2 months. Plus there is an external, very, very strict audit of all our facilities, twice a year. So and these findings are actually presented to the board of directors. Okay, that if somebody has failed on any parameter of even a simplest parameter of the fire extinguisher not been kept at a particular place, he's actually questioned on that. He and his team is questioned on that, and they lose their KRA point. So that is the first point. Second is coming back to the certifications. As I said during the talk, that we have not reached at that. Many of the organizations have still very, very primary stages where they are looking at basic things like saving energy or using greener fuel kind of or solar panels and all those things. So I mean, today, if you look at certifications perspective, so many of the European certifications are found to be much better. Or even if I am interviewing somebody from on or in warehousing or and when we come to this particular sustainable factor, we look at certifications which are available with all those European universities or because India, yes, it has started. There are lot of colleges which have now offered or institutions or universities which have started offering ESG courses, but still, I mean, maybe LEED or other certifications are still better than any other Indian universities.
Excellent. Very well taken that. So this brings us to the end of this session. Uh, Thank you so much, Nitin sir and Ravi sir, for taking out time, being here, sharing your insights, and one of the most interactive and wonderful sessions. Retail is kind of an industry which we see, which happens in front of us. So relating to everything is really so much easy and so much fun. So thank you so much for your insights and for all the discussion.
Thanks for having me on this show. Thank you, Mr. Tulsi.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
And thank
Thank you,
you to all
Nitin.
the participants for joining in on a Friday. We know it's a working day and we have been getting requests to shift it to Saturday. Probably the sixth season will happen on Saturday. Thank you so much. Our next episode will be on 20th of September. Keep tracking us over the social media. If you like the SCM talk show, please spread among your friends and colleagues. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks a
great
lot.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.